Good evening and welcome. You're watching the 7 o'clock news on CNC3. I'm Ria Rambley.
I'm Ryan Bachu.
I'm Jovan Ravello with sport.
And I'm John Malcolm Prasad with your weather.
Let's tell you what's making the news tonight. Government spent $137 million on Carnival 2026. The culture minister is calling it money well spent.
I know the rules. I've never broken the rules. I am not a rule breaker.
Marshal Montano fires back, saying he does not need to break any rules to win the Road March title.
TDT's line minister shuts down calls for an investigation into the broadcast dropout, insisting the state media house operates independently.
In sport, Nicholas Paul makes it 2 gold in 2 days as Team TTO racks up 4 medals at Pan Am Elite Cycling Championships.
Hazardous seas and then Saharan dust. I'll have the details in tonight's weather report.
Minister of Culture and Community Development Michelle Benjamin says government's $137 million investment in Carnival 2026 is money well spent.
Minister Benjamin described this year's Carnival as the best yet, pointing to fully booked hotels in Port of Spain and increased opportunities for artists. Speaking with the media this afternoon, she confirmed that over 2,000 jobs were created during the season, with more than 200 vendors also benefiting. She promised a detailed breakdown of the expenditure, but stressed that unlike previous years when most of the budget went into a few pockets, this time the benefits were spread across the wider community.
I want the country to see over the last 10 years where the money with regards to Carnival go, and that NCC, the governing body, usually spend the money with regards to infrastructure. And what this government is trying to do is to carry the Carnival back to the people and to make sure that the artists earn.
The minister also responded to complaints about this year's Socodrome setup. Benjamin admitted that they learned a key lesson for future events.
The Socodrome, as you would appreciate, because it is an active construction site, we had to be careful as to where we would have allowed it to be built this year. So there was some sort of alteration with regards to where persons know it is. What is the drawback with regards to our entire Carnival package is marketing. And that is something I intend to treat with from the onset.
The minister confirmed that she is looking to acquire more square footage of the Queen's Park Savannah for the NCC to have it branded as the Fet capital.
The government had to budget for Marshal Montano's Carnival Friday performance at Flavor Village.
At his media conference this afternoon, Montano questioned why his fee was a concern by many despite the many performances at the village.
He confirmed that he had significantly reduced his performance fee for the event.
We have not yet been paid. We have also agreed to wait until whenever, right? We have also paid our people who performed out of our pocket for that. And we understand the financial burden of the country right now. So we actually even went lower than a third of what we charge.
And tonight, Marshal Montano is setting the record straight, responding to concerns about truck jumping and rule breaking. The Road March champ says he won because his song connected, not because he bent any rules.
And there's no plans for retirement as Montano sets his sights on new heights. So Ini Gray has more.
I have 11 road marches. I know the rules. I've never broken the rules. I am not a rule breaker.
Amid concerns that Marshal Montano may have broken Road March rules, the record holder is making it clear he knows his craft, invests in himself, and puts in the work. Speaking from the TSTT executive box in the Oval, Montano says the theme for this year was chasing greatness, besting the late Lord Kitchener's record. Yet Montano says instead of his achievement being respected, his peers are teaming up to sully his name. And while he says there's no rift between him and Bunji Garlin, Montano pointed out the incongruity of his public refusal to enter the competition only to register his song at the last minute.
If it's a rigged system, why partake in it?
And Montano points out Bunji's late entry hurt Voice's Road March chances more than his. He also refuted claims he intentionally performed at Flavor Village for free to compete with Bunji's Hard Fat, which was also held Carnival Friday at the Savannah.
I was requested by the government of Trinidad and Tobago to perform at Flavor Village for free. I was requested. They asked me what was the available date I had.
Today's launch marks Montano's welcome return into the Beam Mobile family. The telecommunications company is supporting his Songbridge, which is a music incubator for producers. Montano says while he's not retiring, he will be shifting his focus into following the path carved out on the world stage by Afrobeats and reggaeton. He says soca deserves global attention and he's going to do his best to make that happen. Sweeney Gray, CNC3 News.
Former Calypso monarch Helon Francis is still disappointed after TTT's controversial audio drop during his performance at the Dimash Cross show.
The incident has since ignited debate across the cultural and political landscape. Today, Francis addressed calls from the Emancipation Support Committee for an independent probe into what happened with the broadcast. The Calypsonian expressed gratitude for the support. The audio interruption fueled claims of censorship, which the Prime Minister has since denied. TTT attributed the incident to a system failure. Francis said the issue ran deeper than politics and maintained it was about artistic integrity and the future direction of the craft. He said despite the incident, his spirit remains unshaken. Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister Nicholas Morris is once again apologizing to former Calypso monarch Helon Francis for an audio disruption while rejecting calls for an independent investigation into the incident.
During the cabinet media briefing today, Morris said the government moved swiftly to determine what caused a drop in mic audio during Francis's performance.
When pressed on whether the government was prepared to release the Dante network log to support claims that the interruption was not deliberate, Morris maintained that the matter has already been addressed.
The issue, we have put it out as a Dante router issue. That issue is now dead. But I want to respond to something people calling for an independent investigation. As I've said before, there's a level of double-sidedness with the PNM when they take office, when they go into opposition. They will say, don't attack public servants and don't attack workers. We met the individuals at TTT. We are grateful for their hard work. So the report you see out in the public came from TTT's independent technical team.
Earlier today, Diego Martin West MP Hans de Veens demanded justice for Helon Francis. The opposition continues to accuse government of political interference and censorship in this year's Calypso Monarch. They are calling out state-owned media house TTT for its explanation about audio issues during the performance. At a PNM media conference today, de Veens called on TTT to release its log, which he says will explain to the public exactly what happened.
These things are on logs. Everybody knows that. You can export the log and the report of what happened during any particular time period. Why would TTT issue a statement and not include the log for transparency? People are skeptical of whether or not there was government interference. There are questions, and people are concerned, and the government has to reassure the population of Trinidad and Tobago that there was no interference.
The opposition also criticized TTT for not broadcasting or being present at any of the opposition PNM media conferences. Meanwhile, political analyst Dr. Bishnu Raghunath is dismissing claims of censorship during Helon Francis's performance.
The opposition and social media critics accused the state media house of sabotaging the broadcast to silence Francis's political commentary. However, Dr. Raghunath maintains the incident was not a deliberate act of suppression. He points out that while the television feed experienced audio issues, Francis's microphone remained active inside the venue, ensuring the live audience and, most importantly, the judges heard the entire performance. While the opposition labeled the technical glitch as political interference, Dr. Raghunath argues the government had no incentive to sabotage the broadcast, as such an act would offer no political gain. Veteran Tobago band leader Marcelin Ned believes this year's Carnival celebrations was the worst in her 24 years in the business. Ned, in an interview with CNC3 News today, placed the blame on the Tobago House of Assembly, saying it undermined the festival by inadequate funding, poor advertising and an uncertain calendar.
For this year, I can tell you the participation was not good. Last year, it was better. Persons were saying they're not hearing anything about Carnival. It was not advertised.
Ned urged the THA to consult with stakeholders, or she believes even the popular Tobago Carnival, October Carnival, would begin to flounder.
They just have a whole set of people sitting in an office and they figure they know best when they never make a carnival costume in their life. Some of them never even play mass in their life. They will sit there but talk. The same band leaders that you want to take part in the events, and in a short while, in time to come, October Carnival will end up just like how Tobago Fest ended up, dead in the waters.
Efforts to contact Tourism Secretary Zarisha Hackett for a response to Ned's concerns were unsuccessful.
Still to come in the news, East Port of Spain residents fear reprisal after deadly Mango Rose shooting.
Land dispute suspected as motive for Rio Claro man's murder. A relative urges property owners to seek peaceful resolution.
And in sport, West Indies beats Italy by 42 runs to remain perfect, heading into the Super 8s at the ICC T20 World Cup. In the ever-changing media landscape, we at Guardian Media strive always to put you, our viewers and readers, first.
We strive to uphold the time-honored tenets of responsible journalism.
For us, accuracy is key.
And in our reporting, we strive not only to be first, but fair,
impartial,
and to uphold journalistic integrity.
Above all, we are accountable to you, and we must respect the views of our audience. That is our solemn contract with you.
Keen attention to detail,
rigorous verification of facts, use of credible sources, and sound editorial judgment.
Keep track of our editorial policies and guidelines, including our corrections policy, by logging on to www.guardian.co.tt for more. Defense Minister Wayne Sturge says the U.S. radar is still lodged in the ANR International Airport, and it will remain there for some time. At the post-cabinet news conference today, the minister said while Trinidad and Tobago already has a radar center, existing systems are limited.
The radar uses drone technology and satellite communications, boosting detection capabilities and helping the Coast Guard respond and intercept despite a limited fleet. But when Minister Sturge was asked about the presence of the U.S. military in this country, he said the country did not have a right to know.
You have a right to know. Where you get that right?
This is my country,
it's
your foreign military officers.
It's your country. The fact that there are military personnel here, does that take away from your sovereignty, or does it not add to your sovereignty when the enemy would be persons, narco traffickers, who we have not been able to contain over so many decades?
I'm saying, is it in public interest for us to know if they are foreign?
You just told me you had a right to know. Where do you get that right?
In crime news, East Port of Spain residents are tonight fearful of reprisal attacks following the murder of one man and the wounding of two others. Police said Dwayne Simon was killed by gunmen who stormed the Mango Rose housing complex just before 11 a.m. When CNC3 News arrived at the scene, spent shells and bloodstains were still visible in a nearby drain. Councillor for East Dry River, Clint Batiste, says he's saddened by Simon's death, noting that he knew him personally. He's hoping that violence would not escalate in the community following the incident.
It's not nice hearing people lose their lives, so we don't want a continuation of that. We want to see people grow up with their dads and people grow up with each other and get old, and we could go on retirement parties and things like that.
But he said he did not want to speculate the motive for Simon's murder, but extended condolences to his relatives for their loss.
Police are tonight investigating the fatal shooting of a 25-year-old laborer in Penal yesterday. Collis Mead of Sunrise Road in Penal succumbed to his injuries while undergoing treatment in the San Fernando General Hospital around 10:30 a.m. Investigators say Mead was shot while walking along the SS Erin Road with his 35-year-old common-law wife, her cousin, and the cousin's girlfriend. Crime scene investigators recovered 8 spent shells at the scene and believe his murder may be related to a gang dispute. A Rio Claro beekeeper was found dead in his home with gunshot wounds. A relative of Melvin Pascal found his body lying on his bed at his Deep Ravine village home sometime after 7 a.m. He went to check on Pascal after repeated calls to his cell phone went unanswered. It is believed the father of three was asleep when he was shot multiple times. He lived alone. Relatives believe the killing may be linked to an ongoing land dispute. They say Pascal had been receiving threats since the death of his mother and stepfather, who previously owned the property. They passed away last year. A relative who spoke off camera tells us she never thought the dispute would have turned out deadly, and she has this advice for property owners.
Whoever have property, that they make their will, whatever is their will to leave for their children, make it very clear early and put it in an independent person's name, well, somebody to be able to give out after the parents or grandparents' demise.
Police confirm Pascal had reported threats made against his life. However, investigations are ongoing to determine whether the land dispute was the reason why he was killed.
Government has hinted at a possible reintroduction of the Zoso bill, but tonight the opposition insists it will not lend support if proposed amendments continue to be ignored. Opposition Senator Faris Arawi and Port of Spain South MP Keith Scotland have both raised serious concerns over clauses previously rejected by Attorney General John Jeremy. Scotland argues the government should not rush to pass similar legislation without addressing key issues, among them protection for the Defence Force and the designation of certain areas as crime hotspots.
I think that this bill should stay in recess for quite a long time until such proper consultation and meaningful consultation occurs. Anything as it relates to areas, and if it comes up, must be data-driven and fact-based driven, and it must not have the stench of political interference.
Meanwhile, Al-Rawi says the government does not need to pass the Zoso bill in order to tackle crime head-on. He notes that joint police and army patrols can be conducted if the government is serious about protecting citizens, especially in areas deemed hotspots.
We still have the army, we still have the police, we still have joint patrols. You can flood the streets right now. All that you'd have to do is to let the police do the arresting, the police do the search. You can enter certain places without a warrant now in law. There's certain safeguards. But if you are serious about a special zone of operation, mobilize the folks now. Don't be fooled that this is what you need. This is not necessarily the only way to achieve the effect of a zone of special operation.
Arawi also slammed the government for planning to seek support again from the independent bench for the bill, while simultaneously accusing two independent senators for allegedly breaking the law to gain favors. In other news, former Environmental Commission Chairman Sunil Sukraj is suing Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessa's cabinet, claiming hypocrisy after his appointment was revoked over alleged ties to the PNM.
His lawyers, led by senior counsel Ramesh Lawrence Maharaj, argue he was unfairly targeted while others with political links were appointed to state boards and courts. Sukraj says he attended UNC meetings openly and was reappointed under the PNM until 2024. He claims he was shocked when the president revoked his post last September, citing photos with PNM candidate Richie Sukai at a water drive. He denies campaigning, calling his actions humanitarian. He is seeking lost salary, benefits and damages. The case is before High Court Judge Kevin Ramcharan.
In business news, the future of the Pointe-a-Pierre refinery takes center stage as Energy Minister Dr. Rudal Munilal speaks about high-level meetings in Guyana following talks with major oil players.
However, former Energy Minister Stuart Young is taking aim at the government's energy track record, claiming a total lack of initiative since assuming office. More in tonight's Business Watch from Gisha Kaulesa Alonso.
Energy Minister Dr. Rudal Munilal says a key moment of the Guyana Energy Conference for Trinidad and Tobago was a meeting with Saudi financial officials where discussions centered on the future of the Pointe-a-Pierre refinery.
A highlight, of course, was meeting officials, representatives from the financial community in Saudi Arabia as well, where we discussed matters pertaining to the refinery. We met with Orlando as well, discussing refinery issues and update, and several other players who would have an interest in the refinery, since it is a front burner issue for us at this time.
Dr. Munilal also told the Business Watch talks extended to the Guyanese government and its regulatory bodies to revive the collaboration between the two nations.
We were able to meet with the Guyanese government and authorities, and we have been progressing dialogue on collaboration, synthesizing really our different approaches and sharing our experience in terms of the oil and gas sector. I'm extremely heartened that Excellency Irfan Ali has taken a personal interest in Trinidad and Tobago's energy development at this time. We expressed regret that over the last few years, there appeared to be very little interest on the part of Trinidad and Tobago, and that relationship was indeed cold.
The Energy Minister adds that he hopes there can be further collaboration with Guyana and Suriname on several oil and gas projects and downstream activities. Meanwhile, former Energy Minister Stuart Young is hitting back at the Kamla Persad-Bissessar administration, alleging that the current government is repackaging PNM achievements while the local industrial landscape suffers. He claims it was the PNM administration that signed agreements with Guyana and Suriname to collaborate in the energy sector. Regarding natural gas deals with Venezuela, Young says under the previous PNM term, 30 and 20-year licenses were secured. He warns that the current government lacks direct negotiations with Caracas, and this is a step backward. And now for a look at today's energy and forex prices. Geisha Kaulesa Alonso, CNC3 Business Watch.
Here's what's still to come in the news tonight. Ramadan and Lent align in Trinidad and Tobago. Faith leaders highlight rare chance for renewal and unity.
We had partly cloudy conditions today with quite a few showers resulting in some minor disruptions, especially in northern and eastern areas of Trinidad. I'll let you know what's in the forecast coming up just after the break.
Folks, take a look at all these medical conditions. What does it have in common? This, ITIS. But what does ITIS really mean?
The suffix itis denotes inflammation of a specified organ or tissue.
ITIS really means inflammation. How do we combat chronic inflammation? Through lifestyle changes. Then, and only then, make sure you're getting enough omega-3 fatty acids.
Always consult a qualified medical professional before starting any supplements.
Cold or flu? Take Panadol multi-symptoms. Relief in minutes. 7 cold and flu symptoms. Panadol. Release starts here.
He has traveled the world. He has made millions laugh.
For Laugh Festival 2026, come witness Tommy Joseph honoring and preparing a shadow. Black Stalin.
Tonight the black man feeling the party.
And Super Blue.
Hello, hello.
Get ready for extreme drama. Joining him are some of his famous comedy friends, the Caribbean Prince of Comedy, Ronald, the Caribbean Princess of Comedy, Margaret, from the USA, The Quiet Prince. Laugh Festival 2026. 2 shows only. Friday, February 20th at Cafe Blue Compound, right to room 8 p.m. Sunday, February 22nd, Sapa San Fernando, 5 p.m. Tickets for Cafe Blue Compound at Crosby St. James, Cache Port of Spain, Cafe Blue, and Michel's Arima. Tickets for Sapa and Bellini's Drug Mart, Southern Street, San Fernando, and Sona, Jewelers, Chaguanas, and Pinal. And at islandetickets.com. Laugh Festival 2026. Comedy has gone extreme.
Supporters continue to rally around former Chutney Soca monarch Kenneth Salick following his recent announcement that he is battling kidney failure.
The revelation came on Thursday in a social media post by Salick, where he explained the reason behind his sudden retirement from the stage. The 63-year-old, who captured the 2009 Chutney Soca Monarch title and is best known for his hit song Radica Why You Leave and Go, said his declining health has left him unable to perform, a reality he described as deeply disappointing. Within hours of the post, it garnered nearly 2,000 likes and more than 1,200 comments as fans and supporters flooded social media with messages of encouragement and prayer. His manager confirmed to CNC3 News that Salick has been managing the illness for the past decade and continues to receive treatment locally. This, with last month's death of his son, she says it has been difficult for him. Fellow Chutney artists Ricky Jai and Raymond Ramnarine expressed sadness upon learning of Salick's condition, extending prayers and well wishes for his recovery.
As the holy month of Ramadan aligns this year with the Christian season of Lent, 2 prominent faith leaders in Trinidad and Tobago say the rare convergence offers a powerful opportunity for spiritual renewal and interfaith solidarity. Spiritual head of ASJA, Mufti Muhammad Zaidur Raza, and Reverend Clifford Rawlings of the Presbyterian Church both reflected on the significance of the overlapping seasons of fasting. Mufti Raza explained that while Ramadan follows the Islamic lunar calendar and lasts for a full month of 29 or 30 days, Lent spans approximately 40 days in the Christian tradition, beginning with Ash Wednesday and culminating at Easter.
That could be the ritual fact of the solar system and the system of the lunar month and calendar, but also there's in terms of for those who have vision, they might get the message of that God Almighty gave chance all Muslim community and Christian community, right, to purify themselves and to get better people and to make the world better and safer for all.
Reverend Rawlings echoed that sentiment, noting that while Christianity follows the Gregorian calendar and Islam follows a lunar system, causing Ramadan to shift about 10 days earlier each year, the shared period of fasting is deeply symbolic. For Christians, Lent commemorates the 40 days Jesus Christ spent fasting in the wilderness in preparation for his ministry. It is a season of introspection and repentance leading up to Easter. Ramadan, meanwhile, also marks the period in which Muslims believe the Quran was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad and is regarded as a time of heightened devotion and reflection. Reverend Rawlings, however, urged that the focus should extend beyond personal transformation.
We look at the devastation in Gaza and Palestine, South Sudan, Afghanistan, Yemen, Ukraine, and so on. I see Palestine particularly, where Christians and Muslims have peacefully coexisted for centuries. I hope and pray that they see this as an opportunity to pray and fast together as brothers and sisters, children of Abraham, and to use this as an opportunity for spiritual warfare, because that is an element of fasting as well.
As Ramadan and Lent unfold side by side, both leaders are calling on believers to seize the moment not only for personal growth, but for unity, peace, and healing in what they describe as a troubled world.
As we mark the second day of the Lenten season, we asked, do you support the call by the Archbishop for persons to fast from social media?
This is what you had to tell us.
The People Say, brought to you by Excel Health TT, the official supplement of the CPL.
Well, I have a question for him. What social media doing that people should take a break from?
I mean, maybe some could do it. Maybe self-control, practice self-control. But for me, I see it as I learn a lot from social media. So informative news, health-wise, different things I use social media for. I would say it all depends on your personal view.
I think they should. Yeah, a little change for the dance season.
Far from that, you might order my comfort any night. I don't know. I don't think it's a bad idea, but I don't have an addiction to social media, so giving it up won't affect me, but there are people who can't do without it, so for those persons, it might be a problem.
It's a more personal question, I think. I mean, kind of like fasting for Eid too. I guess when you give up certain things for a certain amount of time. So I think it is feasible if you really put your mind to it.
You think you could do it?
It'll be very hard, but I think I can.
The People Say, brought to you by Excel Health TT, the official supplement of the CPL.
Time for the weather forecast, and Joe Marcus seems as though the Carnival cool down continues into Thursday.
It does.
More rain today.
That's correct. The forecast worked out pretty well. I said that, yes, today was going to be similar to yesterday, and we got those scattered showers. We have slightly drier conditions in the forecast, so let's take a look at what's on the satellite. We have no significant features across the Caribbean at the moment. The Leeward Islands were mostly dry today, a few showers over the windwards, and of course we had scattered showers mainly over Trinidad today. To our immediate east, we have a few smaller patches which will give us the odd overnight shower. Then a bit further off, they're a bit more spaced out, so the chance of rainfall will be a bit lower later on. And well, that prominent Saharan dust plume is still inching along towards the Caribbean region. And there's a slight change in the projection for the dust. It's still expected on Sunday, but the peak or the thickest part of the plume is expected a bit closer to us, meaning that we may have moderate to thick dust Sunday into Monday. Now, mild to moderate dust is still expected to linger for the majority of next week as well. I'll be sure to keep you updated with any of the changes to this projection as the updates come in. Now onto the seas, we have a yellow level hazardous seas alert in effect for all northern facing coastlines of Trinidad and Tobago, similar to the one we had last week. Now large battering waves are possible in those areas, especially at high tide times. Also, sea conditions are generally on the higher end of moderate, just below rough, with waves in open waters up to 2.5 meters and near 1 meter in sheltered areas, occasionally choppy at times. Winds are expected out of the east at 15 to 20 knots. So all marine interests are generally advised to exercise caution when conducting their activities, especially until the weekend. So the forecast for tonight, we'll have some of those passing showers, especially with the partly cloudy skies, overnight lows of 22 in Trinidad and 24 degrees Celsius in Tobago. Tomorrow we can expect slightly drier conditions, but we'll still have those brisk showers moving across both islands, and that will interrupt otherwise sunny and breezy conditions. Looking ahead, we'll likely have those brisk showers over the next 3 days into the weekend. Slightly higher chance on Saturday, but early next week seems to be mostly dry so far. But remember, we have that Saharan dust moving in from Sunday, so next week is shaping up to be dry, dusty, and breezy. Yesterday we spoke a bit about the moon, and there's actually a lunar eclipse on Tuesday, March 3rd, just under 2 weeks. It will only be partially visible in Trinidad and Tobago during the hours just before sunrise, where the moon transitions temporarily into a reddish copper shade. And remember, we call this a blood moon. So I'll be sure to issue a reminder on the Monday just before this happens.
Yep, looking forward to all the photos as well. Thank you so much, Jean-Marc. What's still to come in the news? Palm East residents complain of traffic and noise from 2 Montessori schools in the area.
Struggling with blood sugar swings, high blood pressure, or stiff joints? Take control with Aja Nutrition's powerful wellness trio. Berberine Plus supports healthy blood sugar. Blood pressure support helps keep your pressure in check. And Joint Aid keeps your joints moving so you can stay active every day. Don't wait. Choose Aja Nutrition for trusted, effective solutions. Available at Pennywise and leading pharmacies nationwide. Feel better, move better, live better with Aja Nutrition.
Folks, take a look at all these medical conditions. What does it have in common? This, ITIS. But what does itis really mean?
The suffix itis denotes inflammation of a specified organ or tissue.
Itis really means inflammation. How do we combat chronic inflammation? Through lifestyle changes. Then, and only then, make sure you're getting enough omega-3 fatty acids.
Always consult a qualified medical professional before starting any supplements.
Mom, Dad, this is Trevor.
Hi.
He's no Kieran.
Back up.
Swing? That's why he crossed the road. It was funny when Kieran said it.
Oh, who could that be?
We're like the parents who don't miss your ex.
I can't believe Kieran is in the neighborhood.
CG United. Good like that.
With Alive multivitamins by Nature's Way, you won't be defined by time. You'll own every minute of it. Discover how you can age vibrantly with Alive.
Welcome back, everyone. Elderly residents of Block 1, Palm East, are calling on the authorities to investigate 2 private Montessori schools operating in their community, complaining of persistent traffic congestion and noise, which they say have disrupted their quiet enjoyment of their homes. Retired school principal Harold Ramgulam, who lives directly behind one of the schools, says the constant activity has made it impossible for him to enjoy his property. As a longtime educator, Ramgulam says he supports education, but believes it must be conducted in appropriate zones.
Because they are basically interfering with our peace, enjoyment of property and whatever that goes with it. Right? So we see it as part of that. But no, we don't want to even go so far. We want to go simply that they should, they didn't only blend the renting, they can relocate.
Gary Saney, another resident, says the presence of the 2 schools is causing excessive traffic in the community.
Is the traffic congestion, the noise that's coming from the school, the bands, the steel band, the piano, the children crying and screaming, the cars park up on that side of the road, in the car park there, I don't know.
The principal of one of the schools told CNC3 News that the school has outgrown its current location and will be moving at the end of the term.
CNC3 News reached out to Education Minister Dr. Michael Dowlat, who has started investigations. We are awaiting his response.
Well, a family in Long Island, New York, has made history as the first to gain Trinidad and Tobago citizenship through the recently passed grandparent law.
Anil Samaru, whose parents are Trinidadian, says his children Ryan and Rihanna were granted citizenship under the 2025 Constitution Amendment, which allows grandchildren born abroad to claim citizenship. Ryan is 21 years old and his sister Rihanna is 15. Samaru tells CNC3 News it was a proud moment for his family and is certain his father, who passed away a few years ago, will be smiling down on them. The Consulate General in New York celebrated the milestone, praising the family for honoring their heritage and strengthening the connection to Trinidad and Tobago. Samaru hopes other families will follow suit and embrace this opportunity to continue their family legacy. All right, it is now time for sport, and we are joined by Jovan. Jovan, great news for the West Indies. They're perfect, but Defence Force, on the other hand, they learned a stern lesson last evening.
Yeah, that's right, Ryan. Defence Force head coach, however, hailed the Philly Union's level after a 5-0 first leg defeat in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. And the West Indies women want to re-establish the region as a fortress. More when sport returns.
Folks, take a look at all these medical conditions. What does it have in common? This, itis. But what does itis really mean?
The suffix itis denotes inflammation of a specified organ or tissue.
Itis really means inflammation. How do we combat chronic inflammation? Through lifestyle changes. Then, and only then, make sure you're getting enough omega-3 fatty acids.
Always consult a qualified medical professional before starting any supplements.
Get a free pair of polarized sunglasses with the purchase of new Gen S Transitions lenses with anti-reflective coating and frames. Selected designer frames now just $4.99 with additional promotions. Hurry, limited time only at Seaview Optical.
Get ready for extreme laughter, extreme bacchanal, extreme drama on the biggest comedy stage for 2026 Laugh Festival. Come witness Tommy Joseph
appearing as 3 mega icons.
Joining him are some of his famous comedy friends: the Caribbean Prince of Comedy, Ronald, the Caribbean Princess of Comedy, Margaret, Stephen John, Captain Barry, Fareed Ali, Nuts Landing, Dan the Man.
So Tommy, what really went on with you in the Tobago airport?
Just imagine I in the airport waiting for transport. Nobody ain't come to carry me to the hotel. It's the radar that picked me up.
Roddy X and the crew, the Macomita Comedy Crew, from the USA, the Quiet Prince. 2 shows only. This Friday, February 20th, Cafe Blue Compound, Rights Around 8 p.m. This Sunday, February 22nd, Sapa San Fernando, 5 p.m. Laugh Festival 2026, where comedy has gone extreme.
Welcome back. Sport now. After the opening day brought 2 medals in the women's scratch race and men's team sprint, Team TTO rode to another 2 medals at the Pan Am Cycling Championships today, as Akil Campbell and Nicholas Paul produced some stellar individual rides. Team Sprint bronze medalist Nicholas Paul was back in action in the Karen, biding his time in a very competitive field, then showing his superior sprint speed to win Heat 1 and qualify for tonight's final. In Heat 2, Jasaint Phillip also confirmed his final spot, this time leading from the front and holding off a late challenge to secure 2 spots for TNT in the Karen's medal race. In the final, Paul brought home this country's 2nd gold of the championships. Phillip finished 4th. Endurance rider Tennille Campbell collected this country's first piece of precious metal in Santiago, Chile yesterday and remained grounded despite the magnitude of the achievement, encouraging the rest of Team TTO to follow her lead.
Yeah, I hope I made everyone smile today. I know my family is definitely in their glee right now. Yeah, to everyone in my corner. I mean, it hasn't been some easy days, so yeah, I take this as a positive going forward, and knowing that my mental is strong and it's just to back it up with my physical abilities.
Campbell, who's had her share of struggles on and off the bike in recent years, is already looking ahead to the rest of her program.
I use this race more or less to feel the track a bit, feel my competitors, and to also feel the gear to have an idea what to use for the other races.
Today at the Penalolan Velodrome, her brother Akil brought this country's 3rd medal of the championships when he finished 3rd in the 15-kilometer men's scratch race. Campbell rode in the pack expertly and then went toe-to-toe with the USA's Grant Kuntz, just missing out on silver at the line. Bermuda's Connor White won gold, as another Campbell sibling mounted the rostrum to claim bronze. Makaira Wallace had a fight on her hands in the quarterfinals of the women's sprint. In the first ride, the 2025 Junior Pan Am bronze medalist caught her Mexican opponent Luz Gonzalez napping and sprinted out into a lead that turned into the first ride win. In the second ride, Gonzalez stormed back into contention to tie things up at 1 apiece. In the third, the more experienced Mexican pushed ahead to eventually take a come-from-behind win in the series and advance to the semis. Captain Shea Hope and fast bowler Shamar Joseph shone for West Indies in their 42-run win over Italy to complete an unbeaten run in the group stage of the ICC T20 World Cup. In the process, Hope passed Kieron Pollard to climb to 7th on the list of top-scoring West Indians in T20s. Ian Wilson tells us how.
Italy put West Indies in to bat at Eden Gardens, and it seemed like a good decision when they got the wicket of Brandon King for 4 with a score on 5. That didn't stop Shea Hope as he got going on a wicket erring on the slow side, going past Kieron Pollard on 7th on the West Indies T20 most runs list. Shimron Hetmeyer made just 1, but with his run of good form of late, he earned an early rest from the middle. Hope continued to bat on and had a good partnership with West Indies Test captain Ruston Chase. Chase hit a couple good shots during his 25-ball stay, but he was dismissed for 24 with a score on 95. Italy fought back with 2 quick wickets of Rovman Powell for 9 and Hope for 75 and 1 run behind Marlon Samuels on the all-time run-getter table at 113 for 4 and 115 for 5 respectively. After the dismissal of Jason Hooler for 9 at 137, Shafane Rutherford scored 24 not out and Matthew Ford scored an unbeaten 16 to guide West Indies to 165 for 6. Set 166 to win, the Italians lost Justin Muska early for 2 with a score on 12. His brother Anthony Muska, who opened with him, was out on 19 at 26 for 2. Matthew Ford got a second wicket when he got Saeed Naqvi for 6 at 37 for 3. JJ Smuts and captain Harry Manenti then took the score to 57 before Shama Joseph took care of Manenti when he was on 8. Another 21-run partnership between Smuts and Grant Stewart took them to 78 before Smuts was out for 24. Ford got the wicket of Gianpiero Mead for 4. Joseph took 2 more wickets, those of Thomas Draka and Ali Hassan, as Italy slumped from 115 for 6 to 173 all out. Joseph was the pick of the cork, taking 4 for 30. Ford had figures of 4 for 19 as West Indies remained perfect heading into the Super 8. Ian Wason, CNC3 Sport.
Now, after the win, a proud Captain Hope acknowledged that there are still areas that need to be addressed in the tournament's next phase. However, the Barbadian opener was also eager to point out the all-round effort, not just in this match, but throughout the tournament thus far.
We also know it's a game of sport, and in any sport, everyone's not going to fire every single day. So especially in team sport, the important thing is when one of your teammates are down, the other guys, we got to ensure we pull them up, pull some slack for them. And that's the way how tournament play works, especially in a big tournament like this. When one guy is down, we got to make sure we keep pulling them up.
Elsewhere at the World Cup, Zimbabwe beat Sri Lanka by 6 wickets in Colombo to join West Indies, India and South Africa in Group 1 of the Super 8s. All the tournament's unbeaten teams now find themselves in what is effectively a group of death. Ian Mason has the highlights in today's World Cup wrap.
Zimbabwe were out to prove their win against Australia last week was not a typo. Sri Lanka chose to bat first at Colombo and got a 54-run partnership between the informed Patham Nissanka and Kusal Pereira. They raised 54 inside 5 overs. Blessing Muzarabani got the breakthrough when he dismissed Pereira for 22. Kusal Mendes contributed 14 in a 46-run partnership with Nissanka before he was out, falling to Ryan Burl. Nissanka got to 64 before he was out, caught off the bowling of Graham Kremer. Pavan Ratnayake then took the torch from him and scored 44 from 25 balls. He lost a couple partners along the way, Kamendu Mendes for 7 and captain Dasun Shanaka for 6, before he himself was out at 164 for 6 as Sri Lanka posted 178 for 7 from 20 overs. Set 179 to win, Zimbabwe got an opening stand of 69 between Brian Bennett and Tadiwanashe Marumani. Together, they found the boundaries without much fuss. Marumani was the first to return to the pavilion. Good work from Dunet Welalage. Brian Burl joined Bennett and together they took the score to 98 before Burl was casualty number 2 when he made 23. Sikandar Raza joined Bennett and put together a 69-run partnership that took the African nation to 167. Zimbabwe had a bit of a wobble when they lost Raza for 45 and Tashinga Mosikiwa for 1-2 runs apart. Bennett continued to an unbeaten 63 as Zimbabwe reached 182 in 19.3 overs to win by 6 wickets and remain unbeaten in the World Cup. Ibrahim Zadran scored 95 not out after Afghanistan were asked to bat first in Chennai against Canada. Sadikullah Atal added 44 as Afghanistan closed on 200 for 4. They then restricted Canada to 118 for 8 with Mohamed Nabi, the pick of the bowlers, with 4 overs, 4 wickets for 7 runs. Harsh Thakur was their best batter with a top score of 30. Both teams will take no further part in the tournament. Ian Wason, CNC3 Sport.
Thanks, Ian. Now, closer to home, West Indies women's captain Hayley Matthews is anticipating a strong performance against Sri Lanka in the White Ball Series starting on Friday in Grenada. Speaking ahead of the first ODI in St. George's on Friday, Matthews says it's a good start against the Lionesses.
We all are pretty hungry for that. We haven't had many series in the Caribbean of late, so this year is going to be a great chance for us to kind of make home ours, and I guess really give teams a hard time coming down here, and really make it a big challenge for teams to come down here to the Caribbean and play on our soil. So this is going to be the perfect time for us to kind of set that up.
The Windies women captain also wants a team to make a statement and reaffirm the Caribbean as its fortress.
We all are pretty hungry for that. We haven't had many series in the Caribbean of late, so this year is going to be a great chance for us to kind of make home ours, and I guess really give teams a hard time coming down here, and really make it a big challenge for teams to come down here to the Caribbean and play on our soil. So this is going to be the perfect time for us to kind of set that up.
In football, Defence Force learned a hard lesson against the Philadelphia Union as the CONCACAF Champions Cup came to our shores last evening. Here's more in this report. Two-time champions and twice runners-up Defence Force returned to the CONCACAF Champions Cup on the back of a 2024 CONCACAF Caribbean Cup third-place finish. Against Philadelphia Union, they had a chance to re-announce themselves at the Hazley Crawford Stadium in Mucurapo. However, the Union didn't seem overawed by the occasion. Ezekiel Alado with an audacious first shot on target in only the second minute. Milan Iloski was next in line to try Isaiah Williams in the Defence Force goal. The Army custodian again equal in the 25th minute. A 28th minute infringement on the edge of the Army box gave them another chance of a lopsided early half hour. Tyrese Bailey earning the game's first caution. Andy Lusky got it inch perfect this time to put the Union ahead 1-0 after 29 minutes. Army's Jovan Jones sought to muster a reply almost instantly, but Andrew Rick saw it all the way. The Defence Force was still chasing late into the half, and Francis Westfield drifted up from left back to pick out Alado at the far post for his debut goal, 2-0 to the Union after 32. His strike partner Stas Koznovsky kept the Defence Force midfield busy and almost conjured chrome in the 40th, but it was not to be as the teams went into the half with the visitors up 2-0. The second half continued in the same vein, Koznovsky stinging Williams' palm from close range in the 56th, before the corner produced the game's third goal. Olwethu Makania up from central defence to bully his way to Iloski's corner, 3-0 to the Union. As the Philly team continued to find yards and yards of space, teenager Cavan Sullivan had enough time to find a pair of players atop the box, and sub Bruno Damiani got in on the goals, 4-0 after 69. Jones picked up his first yellow of the match in the 70th, then a sloppy Sheldon Bato tackle earned the Union a penalty in the 80th. Referee Rion Radix took a look and made up his mind, as did Damiani, beating Williams despite the keeper guessing correctly, 5-0 to the Union in the 81st. As frustration really set in, Justin Sadu in the 84th, Sherwin Noel in the 89th, and Jones again in the 90th +2 all earned cautions. Jones' second yellow means he'll miss the return leg at Subaru Park in Philadelphia next Thursday, with a 5-0 mountain standing between the Army and their progress to the round of 16. Now, Defence Force head coach Devon Jostling was disappointed with the defeat, but remained pragmatic about the gulfing clash between the TTPFL champions and the three-time reigning MLS Supporters Cup champions.
In terms of Defence Force and Philadelphia, is different levels. I'm really proud of the guys in terms of they never gave up, right? But what I'm disappointed with is that we know they was really good from dead balls, and for them to score 4 goals from dead balls, I'm disappointed in that. But this is the level.
Following an opening day chastening after returning to the tournament for the first time since 2002, Jostling says the team is keen to give it a go in Philadelphia in a week's time.
You never know in football. You never know. Wicked guy, really goal, the guy, red card, you never know. But we'll definitely be going to Philadelphia to compete and try to give a better performance than tonight. You had to give respect where it's due, and the job was to make sure and try and be in the tie for the second leg. But unfortunately, it didn't happen that way because that is football. So you know what we have to do is learn, and the next time we reach this phase, hopefully to go one better.
A reminder that second leg is carded for Thursday, February 26th in Philadelphia. And finally, 2 gold medalists take another top honor. On Wednesday, Tennille Campbell made a perfect first impression as she dominated the track in Santiago to win Team TTO's first elite Pan Am gold these championships. Today, sprint phenom Nicholas Paul joined at the top with another gold, this time in the men's keirin. So to TNT's terrific twosome for setting the standard in Santiago, you earn tonight's CNC3 Sport High. A bumper sportscast tonight, guys.
That's right. Thank you so much, Jovan. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
Visit Tire Clinic Marketing, New Truck and OTR Tire Service Center at number 30 and 32 Montrose Main Road, Chabonas. Call today at 665-8973 or 672-3419. Alignment services available. Tire Clinic Marketing, Truck and OTR Service Center. A tire for every need.
Dress like you mean business. At The Working Woman, we bring you stylish, professional looks made for the modern woman. From casual to formal workwear, we've got your professional wardrobe covered.
This town isn't as safe as it used to be. You remember that laundromat that burnt down? We offered protection, but they refused.
So you're telling me that if I pay you, you'll protect me from... Gentlemen, I think you've been watching too many cheap American soaps.
Westwood Park, Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. only on CNC3.
Internationally, Britain's King Charles says the law must take its course after the arrest of his younger brother, the former Prince Andrew. The move comes in the wake of revelations in the Epstein files.
And lawmakers on Capitol Hill are pushing for similar accountability for those in the U.S. with ties to the late convicted sex offender. Here's more from CNN.
Britain's King Charles arriving at an event in London Thursday, declining to answer questions about his brother Andrew's arrest.
What's your reaction to your brother's arrest?
Andrew Mountbatten Windsor was arrested Thursday morning on suspicion of misconduct in public office, according to the Thames Valley Police. It comes on the heels of the U.S. Justice Department's release of documents detailing the former prince's ties to the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The Thames Valley Police previously said it was assessing whether Andrew shared confidential material with Epstein during his time as a UK trade envoy.
It's a common law offence, and it requires a really high level of proof, because the potential penalty, the total potential penalty, the maximum penalty, is life imprisonment.
The former prince has denied all accusations against him and has not commented on the more recent allegations of misconduct in public office. In a statement, King Charles said the law must take its course and pledged full support for the investigation. The arrest with the potential to send more shockwaves through the British monarchy and government.
The first dramatic fallout that seems to be happening from the publication of these Epstein files seems to be, more than anything else, in the United Kingdom rather than in the United States, where the crisis began.
Some lawmakers on Capitol Hill calling for similar accountability here in the U.S.
Great Britain is holding its powerful and privileged to account. The United States of America should do the same.
And the king is actually saying we need to follow the law here. I wish our government were doing the same.
In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
And Andrew Mountbatten Windsor was released from police custody this evening after being questioned all day by detectives from the Thames Valley Police. Oil prices jumped to their highest level in nearly 7 months. The increase is tied to rising tensions between the United States and Iran. Brent crude, the global benchmark, rose 1.6% to $71.49 US per barrel. Gold is also up, with prices edging higher this morning. That's after a 2% gain for gold on Wednesday. Well, Faizabad Anglican Secondary School has continued to excel in science despite a dilapidated lab, and now a New York-based charitable group has donated funds to help upgrade the facility. The Trinidad and Tobago United Community Association presented a check this morning to assist with refurbishment works. The principal says the science labs have faced challenges for years. She says the contribution comes at a critical time when the school celebrates its 85th anniversary.
Our science labs have had some challenges over the past decade or so, and we are very grateful that this contribution is going to refurbish or assist in refurbishing the labs, because one of our greatest accomplishments is that our students leave Faizabad Anglican Secondary with full certificates, and usually in the fields of science.
Representing the organization, Alethea St. Bernard Marshall says supporting the school means investing in future doctors and scientists, adding that without proper lab facilities, students are being sold short.
Well, if we support these schools, then we support our future, and the students of this school, especially in the lab, who are going to be doctors and scientists and so many great things that our country need. If we fall short and they don't do what they're supposed to do and they don't have the lab to have the experiences and the experiments that they needed, we are selling them short.
Well, over 300 students are expected to benefit from the lab upgrade. It's time to recap our headlines. Government spent $137 million on Carnival 2026. The culture minister is calling it money well spent.
TTT's line minister shuts down calls for an investigation into the broadcast dropout, insisting the state media house operates independently.
In sport, Nicholas Paul makes it 2 gold in 2 days as Team TTO racks up 4 medals at Pan Am Elite Cycling Championships.
And in the weather, yellow level hazardous seas alert is in effect until Saturday.
As we leave you, let's remind you to stay connected with us on our social media platforms.
There you'll find tonight's stories, the latest updates, and exclusive content. And don't forget to pick up a copy of the TNT Guardian newspaper.
We've come to the end of the 7 p.m. news on CNC3. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Maria Rambly.
I'm Ryan Beachu.
I'm Jovan Ravello.
And I'm Jean-Marc Rampasad. Have a good night.
This country real backward. You can't